Cek, cek. Oh, bukan. Cek.
Ya.
Beneran. Cek, cek, cek. Cek. Belum masuk.
Belum masuk.
Cek. Udah nyala kan?
Nyala?
Cuma dulu. Setting merahnya. Cek. Cek. Bisa kan? Cek.
Cek, cek,
Bagus.
cek. Koyumi, bagus. Koyumi, dengar saya tidak?
Bagus, bagus.
Ya. Jadi pakai sini aja.
Coba lagi.
Cek. Cek. Halo, Koyumi. Koyumi. Hai. 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 Nice to see you. Nice to see you. Nice. Dengar kan? Saya dari jauh. Oke. Oke. Oh, telat. Ya emang kayak gitu ya? Cek. Hai, hai, hai. Kok delay? Halo, Koyumi? Udah nggak delay kan? Yes. Cek.
Bisa ekspor komen
Tes, tes,
masuk
tes. Halo. Oke.
pakai mikrofon buat yang di live stream. Bisa taruh di situ aja. Maaf ya, Mbak.
Oke. Mau podcast ini. Kedengaran. Suaranya agak jelek ini. Dari sini. Ya. Ya. Hai. Ya, aku sih manut. Ya boleh ya, Kak ya. Hi everyone. Good afternoon everyone, and how are you guys today? I hope you guys are in a good condition for today's Wednesday forum. And anyway, I'm Halina Dira, and I will become moderator for today's sessions. And of course, now we have our wonderful speaker, Kakani Suvianita, who will present the research about Waria religious experiences in Eastern Indonesia. So, yeah. Okay, so today we will discuss how religion plays an important role in predicting attitudes toward transgender individuals. And we will also see how responses to transgenderism in Gorontalo and Maumere are mixed, with religion belief and knowledge about gender issues contested. And for your information, Kakani Suvianita is PhD graduate in ICRS, and Kakani's interests focus on gender, sexual diversity, and religion, as well as on the impact of religious politics on sexual minorities. And Kak Kani's professional experience includes development of social empowerment and social justice programs for gender and sexual minorities. And also through the work with Gaya Nusantara, Kak Kanis has also documented human rights violations of LGBTI individuals. And without further ado, let's give a warm welcome to Kak Kanis Suvianita. Kak Kanis, the time is yours.
Okay, thank you. Selamat siang teman-teman. I'm sorry with my voice because I have a problem with my vocal cord and my throat. So this is another voice of me. I wish what I present can still clear, although my voice is not really good now. Okay, as the moderator said about my topic, today I will talking about the story of Waria. Story of Waria in two cities in eastern Indonesia, which are in Gorontalo and in Maumere. So this region represent of the Islam population or Muslim population and Catholic population in Eastern Indonesia. So why I'm doing this study? How this study also I did in 2018 through 2019. Almost a year I'm doing my field work in two regions. Why this too long? Because I always come and go in both places and following the religious event and also the family and the community event. Because I'm also doing the participatory observation and I'm doing a deep interview to Waria and to family, parent, sibling, and also religious leader. Maybe I talking more than 100 people along my fieldwork. And also I'm talking with the politician, journalists, and friend of the Waria. Also, I'm doing a focus group discussion in two community in Flores and in Gorontalo. This is the background of the two regions, two sides of my research. The condition of social, political, and religious situation in Gorontalo. In Gorontalo, there are around 97% the population are Islam, and in Maumere, around 88 population are Catholic. And then how is the situation? My research is focused on the period of New Order until the Reformasi era. So I'm looking the history in the past, in the Suharto period, how is going on and what is the changes and how is the situation, the condition nowadays. So in Reformasi era, the Gorontalo is the first a new province because of the autonomy daerah policy. And they claim or they create or they use the symbolic identity for the city is Serambi Madinah. Why this is very important? Because Gorontalo previously, before there become a new government, a new province, Gorontalo is a part of the Manado, where the Manado is known as the Christian majority. So indeed, in Gorontalo, there are Muslim population, but there are so many culture, habitus that's similar to Manado. And then there are many new Islamic organizations beside Nahdlatul Ulama, Muhammadiyah, and such as Salimah, Wahidah, and any others, including the HTI at that moment. And also there are many the Shia community as well in Gorontalo, and I'm also meeting them. And then they also create a Perda Syariah. The Perda Syariah is important in the middle of 20s because they really use it, the Perda, after 7 to 10 years after they issued the Perda. And then in Maumere, since era reformasi, the city become of human rights city. So why the human rights is become a very important issue in Maumere? I think because of the development issues, because so many things in Maumere that left behind condition in here, and also there are so many cases that not really solved yet, such as the issue of the killing of 1965, the killing of people. So they still, like us, this is also a big issue actually, but until now people not talking about it. And also there is a big theology school, Ledalero. Ledalero is sekolah tinggi teologi in Maumere. It's called STFK Ledalero. I think this is one of the important school, how they change the perception of the priest, the Catholic priest, view the Waria today. Yeah, and then another one is also the important one is the tsunami 1991. The tsunami in 1991, we are not really clear about it. Even when I know this one, I just learn again about it. And the tsunami in 1991 have a big impact to the Waria condition and Waria position in Maumere. So it's become a trigger how the Waria in Maumere migrate to Java, especially in East Java, and then also they are going to several cities in Eastern Indonesia. It's also similar with the Gorontalo Waria. And then they also have a Waria organization. There is a Persatuan Waria Sedaerah Gorontalo. It's created in 2003. And then there is a Perwakas. It's also created in early Reformasi era. And the one who initiate the Perwakas actually is alumni of STFK Ledalero student. And then there is another one in Gorontalo, Ikatan Waria Indonesia Gorontalo in 2015. This is when human rights movement is come to Gorontalo, and then among the LGBT community in Gorontalo, also HIV/AIDS organization network. So this is the condition is similar with Maumere. And then another one in Maumere is Fajar Sika. I think you know this one because the one who create this organization is very famous through the social media. This is the view of religious leader on Waria. In Gorontalo, the view are contested, while in Maumere they are very similar. So they more tolerate because of human right approach in Maumere, and then because of Christianity teaching according to them. And then the first one is Jesus teaching, love first, as the basic of acceptance, as the foundation of the acceptance. And then they believe also what they call about the pastoral care. Actually, it's the pastoral care, not the pastoral services. So most of the priests telling that the condition of Maumere is maybe different with the condition in Western or in other area, because most of the church that I came to in Maumere, there are many Waria who are participate in the religious activity or in church services. And then also Waria, most of the Waria in Maumere, they are really diligently come to the church actually. So the priests really understand who is the member of the parish, anggota paroki mereka. So they know well. And then the relationship between the Waria and the priest is very common. So the Waria can come to the priest and talking about their condition, and also the priest sometimes call the Waria ask their help for some activity, to doing some activity, and then also sometimes for the misa requiem also in their lingkungan. So most of them are very, very helpful, the Waria. So the priest always say, some of them say, when I ask to Waria, they easily to come and help us. And then while in Gorontalo, the religious leaders see the one who reject, who against the Waria. Actually, the framework is because of the homosexuality, I guess. And then the issue of LGBT as the foundation why they against this one, because for them, the Waria in sudden changing into the transgender matter. So because of the transgender issue, they say this is the Western things. So this is the new thing that we never had before. So this is like the Western, what they say is Western Jew Christian American movement who want to destroy Islam and Indonesia. And then the demand is because of the issue of same-sex marriage. So this is the important thing for them, because through this demanding, through this same-sex issue, then this is attack to Islam, Islamic morality. So this is the difference. But the one who accept, they really understand how the Waria context in Gorontalo. They can showing how the Waria develop their activism, how the Waria develop their community as well. And they know that Waria is not something odd, not strange, because Waria living within the community, within the society, and Waria living with the neighborhood. And then some ulama, some ustad that I talk with, even they said, do you know this Waria? Do you know that Waria? Do you know that one? and even some of them even introduced me to several names, and that I follow it through this information as well. And the society in Maumere, the issue of 2016, if you remember, 2016 is known as the LGBT crisis in Indonesia, because then the issue of LGBT become very popular through media, and people also starting to thinking what is it, and so they also compare with the communism and so on and so on. In Gorontalo, the issue of 2016 is become a trigger. The new thing, the way they see Waria, the way they see Waria present the Waria position as well. And then the other one is Tsunami 2018. So in sudden, the SOE, Siao, written again to call the Waria. And then some story from my informant telling that how they are called in the street by the religious people as a SOE, or some people ask them to repent, to return to their pitra, and so on and so on. And this is the profile of the informant. This is only the profile of the Waria. So most of them, the bigger part, the education background is in junior high school and senior high school is the bigger one. But there is also in the university. So they're mostly in Gorontalo because of the economic condition is better than in Maumere for the Waria. And then this is the generation. Why I divided them, the informant, into generation? Because the generation is as a tracking away to analyze how the history, the policy of new order have impact to the current situation of the new policy toward the Waria condition nowadays. And then the bigger one is in the middle, the second generation. The second generation is they are mostly born in Suharto period, but then they're growing up. Some of them are in the era reformasi, but also some of them are grow up in the new order in the Suharto. This is also important. Why? Because in Waria community, the seniority, the hierarchy within the community is very important and has a big impact to the individual community. And then this is the background of the family. Actually, from the 57, my informant, this is the condition of the multiple non-normative sexuality and genders member. So in their family, several of them have the member who are also Waria or others or no labels, including not only heterosexual, but also non-heterosexual people within the family. Why they can track this? Because in Gorontalo and Maumere, the collective family is still very strong, and they can lead, they can know which one belong to who and which one have a relative to whom. And in Maumere, even they living in like one family, one big family can living in one land. like Tamian Lanjeng in Madura, and then also in Maumere. So they can talking about their uncle, their auntie, their niece, their nieces. That's similar to them. In my environment, within my environment, there are uncle and nephew, or I call it auntie and niece, because both are Waria, and in Gorontalo, also in Maumere, there are six family, and then also there is a cousin as well, and then there is a sibling. So there is a family who have Waria within the family, three Waria within the family, two Waria within the family. So they are sisters. And this is the term. It's really have a term, and the local term. The local term is interesting actually. The local term is Bayasa, Salabai, Hunusa. The sound, the pronunciation of Hunusa is like Hunsa, a bit similar, but it's not directly from Hunsa, I think, but the sound, and then also Salabai is such as Salabai. So this is the Sulawesi, and then the way they explain Salabai is also similar with the Calabai. And then while in Maumere they call it Kobek. Kobek or Banci Kobek or Reku. Reku and Salabai or Bayasa is similar actually. Similar to what we call as the explanation is similar with the Banci or the Wandu, but Kobek is very interesting, because Kobek is a very queer term, I think. Kobek is not talking about male who look like a female. No, not such as that, but Kobek, the meaning of Kobek is like a ball. Do you know ball? So Kobek is like a ball, but you cannot know what is inside the ball except you looking up directly. But from outside, you cannot understand what is the content inside the ball. So Kobek is such as like that. The meaning of the literally of the Kobek. So they use Waria as a Kobek. So they said, although the Warias look like feminine, you doesn't know whether they are Waria or not. So you have to really talking to them, asking them, understanding of their mentality actually. That's the meaning of Kobek. So Kobek is a very, very queer, I think, the meaning of Kobek. So they also say that male body doesn't mean they will become a man. That's the meaning of Kobek actually. So they call it Kobek. The Banci Kobek is like a redundant to make sure that Kobek is a Banci. Reku is like this is symbolic meaning of knife, that the knife, you cannot use the knife when the knife is not sharp. So Reku is such as like this. So this is the penis symbol. So although they have a penis, but the penis is not working. It's something like that. It's like a joking, or it's like a cynical things to talk about the masculinity actually. This is how they say. And then the job or the work of Waria is very various. And then this is the social condition. I will talking again and in the back. And then how they become a Waria. Why they keeping they keep their confident, they're very confident that my informants say that they're created by God. Warianess of them is because of come from God, not their own who created. So what the gender identity is not fake, because this is not them who make it, but this is God. Because they always talking about the history of their own self. They start from the early childhood. Some say since 6 years old. So this is similar in the other words. I had ever read as well in different country the story of transgender. Most of them are feel it in their childhood, and some when they're teenager, 11, 12, 13. There are environment who express their gender identity since their child, from the beginning of the primary school. So in SD, kelas 1, they already using a female dress. That's why it's difficult for her to enter the school, because they don't want to use the male dress uniform. And then after that, she cannot going to school. And also the other one in Gorontalo, they start to use the female dress when she was 9 years old. And then they also have to leave the school. But in other area, they keep using the uniform, the male uniform, but in the house they use the female dress. So it's really also negotiating with the family sometimes. But most of them are really expressing their gender identity when they're teenager. Mostly start from SMP. SMP, they start with the powder, the lipstick, and so on of the female thing, the beauty things. Yeah, and then violence, discrimination in the new order. How is the condition? The condition in Gorontalo, actually, in the new order time, the condition of Waria is good. What they call is zaman nyaman. That's the best moment for them, where the Waria activism can really to be done. While in Maumere, the new order time is the most difficult time for them, because the society against them so much, attacks them. When they are standing on the street, sometimes people throwing them with the stone, with urine water, and then sometimes they hit them. And then mostly of the Waria and Maumere, they're very scary standing alone. So they're always with their friend. But after the Suharto fell down, the condition is really changing. And also Waria is very difficult to have a work at that time. And the condition is very poor as well in Maumere. So 1991, after the tsunami, the condition become even worse for the Waria. So most of them started to migrate to Java at that time. And then after the Reformasi era, not after the Suharto, the new order, so they return to their hometown and they start create their own business, create a salon, mostly salon, and then become a beautician, and then organize wedding party, and they become a very good cook, because most of them had ever working in the ship as a cook. And then this is how they entering the Waria world in Java or in Manado, because from the Gorontalo they migrated to eastern part, to Manado, to Makassar, to Papua, to Ternate. So they enter the Waria world as the common that we know in Java. So become working in the salon, and then some also talking about the experience of sex worker also in Java. But when they return, they're not really working with this work anymore. Why? Because the economic condition is different. Because they become a very good economy. They have a good economic condition, and most of them become the owner of their own salon. But in Java, they're working to others. So when they are written, they become like the pioneer. Mostly, especially in Maumere, they become the pioneer creating the Waria salon. Also in Gorontalo. But what happened after the Suharto period, the condition is become different. In Gorontalo, although they have the capital, economic capital, social capital, culture capital, and even symbolic capital, and they have a very good position before, and society knowing them well, they can but the levels of them now is changing because of Islamic morality getting stronger, and the Sharia as a norm to rule people behavior, especially about gender binary, sexual behavior, and the one who really very visible are the Waria. So Waria become the first target of this norm. While in Maumere, the perception of Waria from the religious leader is different, because the tsunami also changed the way how the priest candidate, what we call is frater, or the student, they now living not only in the dome that very far away from the neighborhood, but they living within the neighborhood. So the dome is changing. The dome style is changing. So the frater can see the reality within the society. That the first thing. And then the second thing, I think, also there are new subject in the class about human rights, feminism, theology, contextual, and they are pushed to go to the society to have some internship within the community, living with the people, and some of them even have, because I'm also talking with some frater, they also have experience living with the Waria, living in Waria house, and then so they see how Waria actually live daily, how Waria doing their religious ritual in daily life. So and then many of them also came back from the Western because of their study. So they see the reality, the world is really changing about sexuality. And then also when they are how they live, how Waria really try hard to live harmoniously within the society, within religious community. They keep saying that they are tahu diri. We are tahu diri. Kenapa? So because of I'm tahu diri, then I have to properly bring myself when there is some event, the formal event, religious event, family event, So they really expressing their gender identity properly, following the norm. If I feel that I'm a woman, so I will follow how the good woman is. And then how the woman sit, how the woman talk, how the woman doing, what they're doing. So they in one time they are undoing their gender, but they're also redoing the gender, right? And then this is similar to the Waria in Maumere. So Waria in Maumere, they keep saying that kita jaga keluarga. If we are keeping the family, if saya jaga keluarga, mean I have to be good. How to be good? I have to present a good my own self. That's the way how they're doing. And then because the religious is important for them, so they always following the religious ritual. Even in the, you can see daily easily when the Waria participate in the Friday sholat, ya, sholat hari Jumat. And then yeah, and this is the changing in Gorontalo. Some already I'm talking about it, and then in Maumere also. Although in Maumere, people or the priest, the society, the family, very accept, but there is no specific statement from the church or from the society or from the government. But the Waria can involve in the government, and then also there is no specific magisterial teaching on transgender in Catholic actually until now. Because what? Because in Catholic, when they call transgender, actually they revert to transsexuality. So they revert to gender dysphoria issue. So the thinking at the end is about changing the body. So this is like a sex reassignment surgery. But actually it's not that issue of the transgender. It's not the whole issue of the transgender or the very specific issue of the Waria. Because Waria, in both places, they never think about changing their body totally, the whole body. So if they want to change, sometimes only the breast, the top part, they use silicone. In Maumere, I only found 2 people, 2 of my informant only. And in Maumere, there is no one. They only use the pill, the hormonal pills, beside the issue of economic, the financial issue, also religious belief holding them to not change their body, because they believe like this: if God created me as Waria, as who am I right now, that means my body already perfect. So you maybe see me as a male, but the most important thing is what is inside. So the claim that they're female is more what they call as a soul. So this is the trueness of them. So meaning for the Waria, the trueness is what is inside, not what is outside. So because I'm being honest, this is what the religious knowledge and also the religious teaching to them since their child about being honest is being a Waria visible. This is also how they compare with the uncoming out others. And this is the condition actually. You see, this is how started very formally in Gorontalo. Yeah, so darurat LGBT. Indonesia is darurat LGBT. And then can you imagine this is a reunion in Gorontalo one of the event is aksi tolak LGBT. That means Waria, and then this is the local government in Gorontalo create a social rehabilitation program, but actually it's common in Indonesia because this is based on the Kepmen 8 tahun 12. Yeah. And then this is actually I like the title of I got it from Liputan 6. Actually I like the title of the news is they said jurus jitu Pemkap Gorontalo sulap Waria menjadi pria. So the word sulap mean actually they really understand actually you cannot really change them magically into men, right? So the journalists understand well about this one, and then the informant who participated this program also talking to me. They coming with their male dresses, but they going out with female dresses. But in another hand, this is also interesting because in Gorontalo, they create this one. So we even in Java never talking about the istiqosah keberagaman gender, right? See how good they are. Yeah, and then the title, even in Java, we cannot create like this, the title. But here in Maumere, the Waria, the visible Waria can become a member of a village consultative body, PPD we call it. And then this is Waria work. And this is the discourse, how religious leader use it in Islam and in Catholic. Most of in Catholic, they're talking about all our God children. That's why, because of all our the God children, so we are similar. So we are equal in front of God. And then in Gorontalo, they said a bit similar. Only God know people heart. So you cannot judge people because the judgment is not only behavior, but the niyat. The niyat is the one that inside us, within our heart. And then the tauhid knowledge. Tauhid is, they said, human is not like us. So there are many human form. The one who really understand about it, they should know the tauhid knowledge. And then also the one who accept, say the same, that who they are, the way they are born is there. And then this is the other who against it. In Maumere, most of the religious leader view are similar. Yeah. The interesting part is when they're talking about the against the Waria, even in the Catholic, they actually entrapped in the homosexuality intimacy framework because they not see the Waria as a non-binary person, because for them the important thing is the body. So the origin of the body of the Waria is a male. So when they are talking with the partnership, the sexual intimacy, mean they against something. That's the limit, the sexual behavior. This is only the condition, the situation. This is in Maumere and this is in Gorontalo, in the Akikah and Kitanan. The Kitanan people invite Waria as a singer. This is my presentation. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Katanis, for the insightful presentations. Now we will open the floor for questions from the participants. Is there anyone who want to ask first? Okay.
Kanis, Kanis.
Okay.
Kanis is okay.
I mean, like with
The title, no, just Kanis.
Sorry. Okay, thank you for the presentation. It's really, really insightful for me because, yes, several years recently that I have concerns related to the LGBTI community, especially in Catholicism, and I've ever have research related to the homosexual and Catholicism in Java. And it is interesting to know that how Maumere and the Catholicism is in there, except the Waria, especially as I know the STFA also published a translated book of Romo James Martin SJ that is really like supporting the LGBTIQ, and I think it's really I was just want to know more related to the homosexual intimacy and how they perceive it in Catholic teachings, because based on based on the research that I have and discussion with the father in Uskupan Agung Semarang, and he also gave me the seri document Gerejawi that is discussing about homosexuality. One of the teachings of Catholicism that against homosexuality because of the marriage, because as we know that the Catholic Church couldn't accept the homosexual marriage. And then my question is how the Waria in Maumere receive these teachings, if there is the same, or is there any like negotiation that they have related to that? And yeah, I'm really curious to know more about that. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you. Ani, can I ask a question? Question is about in the discourses negotiations, especially in Islam. I see that two spectrum, how the Islamic discourses or Islamic religious narratives towards Waria. First one is the extreme religion, like there is a sin, this is a haram, this is a etc. And that's one become a more gray to gray area, even towards acceptance, such as they born that way, and only God can judge, etc. I mean, when you're doing research on this discourse, religious narrative negotiations, how you can analyze the discourse as influenced by what or who, or what kind of religious interpretation or religious tafsir of that religion, religious authoritative, or the ustads in Gorontalo. Do you find, so you can find the difference between the negotiation discourse about Waria, especially in Islamic direction?
Okay.
Do we have any other question? Okay.
Thank you. Saya Amar. Thank you for your presentation, because this is very helpful for me. My research plan about Haji Waria. How about I want to know in case Maumere or Gorontalo, are they have negotiation between Catholic, with gender, with Malabar, sometimes
that they're like a female, the claiming of the identity, So when they're having a relations with a male, for them is this is like a couples, like a heterosexual couple. So what they are doing is not, for some people, for some involvement, they believe this is not something very sinful. Yeah, because they are doing honesty, and they also really expressing the desire, the sexual desire, in a very honest way. And they said, is it true that God created male and female? But is it also true that God created Waria? So if you only believe God created male and women, that means you doesn't understand how powerful God. So they actually challenge our belief of God. Our that's what they said. You are not the one who create God, but the one who create God is you. That's what they want to say. And then the priest in the church say, this is the mystery, because sometimes we cannot understand the whole thing in our life, but there is some area that's still the mystery, how God actually working to us as a human. So indeed, according to religious teaching, according to the magisterial teaching about sexuality or about marriage, is heterosexual marriage. But we also know that the human is very diverse, so we cannot judge. I mean, there is the text, but there is also another practice that we cannot judge the whole thing under one thing, because this one is still learning. We are learning. So we have a limited knowledge of God as well. And also we have a limited knowledge of the humanity. So this is how the priests also negotiate their knowledge, their acceptance, how they accept the Waria. The discourse. This is the discourse. If you're asking the discourse, this is the discourse of negotiation. So limitation of human understanding of the God itself and of the human diversity itself. And then the honesty, what they call the trueness, the Waria says. But some of them also feel guilty willing. I mean, as a Waria, expressing my gender identity to the public visibly is not something sins. But when I'm doing the sexual behavior or sexual intimacy, is it, I know sometimes I feel like a guilty feeling, because the hatred is really internalized to us. This is happened to Waria. What? In my category, the Waria, the background, mostly they are who have a high education. The one who always come to the school with the heteronormative internalized is very, very much. Because we learn how to be a good man and a good woman, and how to them in the school. Who are like only from primary school, they really believe this is God. What I'm doing is honesty. Even one Waria say like this. This is the same like in the Bible. They said, before I born, God already created me. Before I was born, through my mom womb, my mom body, God already put me inside my mom as a Waria. This is the one who even not graduated from the primary school. The one who start working from 9 years old. the one who believe that that she really a female. So all their work experience is really domestic thing. Until now, she's almost 50 something now. That's I really learned something from her so much about what's mean being a believer through differences. There's this is one kurban, Hari Raya Kurban. They're also doing that one, and also they're sending zakat to the also they create so they cut the elderly in open house, elderly house, cutting their hair, taking care of, sending them. What they appreciate their society, how they've been accepted for this long. In Qatar, also similar. Waria also contribute in the lingkungan, doa lingkungan, and also in choir, the church, and then so many. Even in Christmas, I show you in the Christmas, and this is in Christmas, and then yeah, I think, and you see here, oh, different, don't. Gimana ini? How to change? How to change this one? Oh, no. How to change this one? No. Yang tadi yang this one. Ini. Yeah. This is a very event Gorontalo, not in Gorontalo. This one. I want to show this one. In STF Caledarelo, this is the 50 years of STF Calederation, and one who become a MC, Master of Ceremony, is the Waria. So the Waria standing in front of the whole people, in front of the bishop, different bishop, maybe 3 or 4 bishop there, and then the Waria is the one who are become the Master of Ceremony with a priest, and they become collaborate. So this is a nice thing actually. That's happened. Okay, no need. That's all I think. I hope I answered. After long COVID, and then I have a problem with my focus group. So now I'm still struggling.
Uh, how 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 we about right.
Okay. There, one more question.
Mentioned before about what I want to ask the access we have those is change and it's produced by the warrior organization how when they become uh, produce things like we have to be good for with the families or we have to engage with religious religious activities and so on. And second question.
I start answer the question from the third. Yeah. This is the first time I come to Gorontalo is a week after the cinema. So I really see the factual contribution of the warriors to the victim and how they collectively collect their donation and then sending to the local government. And then through the local government, they send to the government in South. At the time, I even joined one of my friends who introduced me to several warriors at the first in Gorontalo. So they send like donation of money, donation of many things. So this is the real how really warrior uh, they're part of the community of the society of the nation. Then I ask, why do you want to contribute when people may know you or recognize? They said like I'm a Muslim in Islam in here in Gorontalo. They call it. They said at the Islam we have to have the people who are in school. So right now the people in Palu really Indonesia, and even maybe they don't have any food. So we are in here berlebih. I don't know. That's the first. And then the second one, because of the 2016 LGBT rights, at the time, in many streets in the Gorontalo at the time, people standing and ask donation from the people who pass on the street. And actually, there is a community working with the youth community there who want to uh, also doing the solidarity, standing in the street, asking the people for the donation. And then the Waria community actually really want to stand, but they're too scared. Not all the who are too scary, but the leader of the organization, too scary. If the Waria come and standing on the street and ask for the donation, you understand what I mean? So they carry the position of Waria will become a problematic when they asking donation. But the Waria themselves as a community, they really send donation. They really have a very good response to the tsunami in Palu. That's the real thing. That's the first one. And then the second one, what's the habitus of Waria in here? Why I also put different different generation, as I said, generation, different generation, because the generation is not people who are born in the early Orde Baru, and then in the middle of Orde Baru, and then the one who really born in the Reformasi era. So the changing is really so much. The one who had ever migrated experiences, they really the solidarity among the Waria to help to each other is very strong. It's very strong. I mean, the collectively of Waria is very strong. So, how the Salon Waria in Gorontalo become spreading the city because of the old Waria really pass their knowledge of the beauty to the younger ones. When the Waria are rejected from the family, the Waria who has the house, who has the salon, put them, taking them into their salon and teach them until they become a very good and skillful. And then they also give some money. It's not only teaching them, but also when they really skillful, they really have a payment as a worker. And then from this salon, actually the first time is only 3 salons, but these 3 salons become created so many new salons in the Gorontalo. But the new one, the new generation, the third generation, the individuality, and this one become something. Also, the human rights movement, the right, the way they perceive the right is very different from the first, the second, and third. So that the young one keep telling about this is our right. Sometimes it is not strategic. Sometimes. Why? Because they negotiate to others who have the conservative background. So that's why they said the young ones sometimes very difficult to teach them how to be tahu diri. Tahu diri doesn't mean I'm real, but tahu diri is a way of strategically how they negotiate their gender identity to be recognized and to be accepted. The young one is a bit different. And then the way they putting the makeup also very. So this is another. This is one of the habits, and also how they create the organization is also long ago. Waria organization really funded by nowadays. Sometimes they really asking. So that's why Waria organization is very very compared to any other because of that. Okay, that's the third question. I wish I. And then the answer the last one because very long, very theoretically. I have to think deeply. And then the perceived one. What is the Waria sexual orientation? Most of them are not married. I mean, my informant. There is no one of my informant who are married. But when I finish my fieldwork, I got one, how to say, one news that one of them are getting married in Gorontalo. Yeah, but this is issue that because of the conservative things getting stronger. So they even change their expression, become more male. So that's the issue. But most of them are not married. Most of them are not married. But within the family, that I said, the family member, some priests even say, I know. Actually, he is a warrior, but he's married. That's what he say. But the expressing is a feminine, but not with the female expression. Yeah. But some are changing. In Gorontalo, I think now it's changing now because I got that also because sometimes even I finish my work, sometimes I going back to Gorontalo and then yeah, several stories different getting digital to express, but not totally difficult because sometimes politics also using the to guide the putting for the election. It's always it's common in Indonesia. Okay, that's the other one. Okay, Pak Ancu, how to negotiate? How to? Okay, I just telling the story, Pak, like this. This is the story that I heard from my informant. How we should engage. When I'm thinking about the term callback from the Bayasa, and also I'm thinking of the religious teaching, religious belief, and also how this informant, how the Waria in Gorontalo and in Maumere, they keep negotiating and keep being honest about themselves. This is one story. She is nearly 50 at the time when I interviewed her, and then she said like this. She was born not in Gorontalo. She is adopted by her uncle. Then her uncle is a guru Mahan. Then because she's from early child, she already Brahminic, and then the uncle that called father, adopted father, forced her to be a very man. And then because he cannot doing that one, he are tied in the street. is tied in the tree, and then he will be, and then the sugar, there is a sugar putting around on his body. So the ant will bite her. And then he said, this is not only one time, but several times. When he can be released, when the time of praying. And then after the praying, he will be tied again several times. And then he said, I will be killed because of the knife, the parang. The father ran and then putting the parang and then showing me the wound, the scar on the leg. And he said like this. Sometimes people keep saying that I'm weak. And he said, if I'm weak, how come I become weak for the whole time? And then he said, do you think I want this to be like this? Always being tortured, always being bullied, always being as a bad person. But do you know, Ma? I keep doing my religion. I'm doing my because I can do it. And then I keep my prayer because I believe that God can accept me. When. And she said like, if you are a good people, why you cannot accept as the one who became? That's just some part of it. And then I said, also the one who said that I was born, even God created me before I was born, like in the Bible. And then we have to thinking about the gender. What is gender? Start from that. Is it a gender? The materiality of gender is really the body? If the gender is really the body, why the gender is very diverse? Even within women, female and male, there is a single male? No. There is no single male gender in the world, even within this group. If the material is body, why is different? We have the same organ, we have the same body, right? Not totally the same. The condition of our body. But why our gender is different? It means there is something that we have put it. The history itself created us to be different. There is so we cannot, because of most of the people when they are talking about gender, the body is become the material of the gender. How they claiming about your gender is true or not because of the body. The Waria cannot claiming from the body because they are not binary. Even me, if people asking me, do you a woman who are very perfect woman or a good woman? Maybe I said I'm not truly a good woman. Why? Because according to development path, I should be married. But why I'm not married yet? According to our norm, this is not good, right? But I'm not the only one. Even they are not Waria, because of the femininity of their body on, they ignore it. So I mean, there is something that we have to thinking how we deliver the gender knowledge to our people, to our children, to our generation. That's from the start. And then how the religious leader, the religious community also talking about gender, the values of gender, the diversity of gender is not because of their sexual orientation. That's the thing I'm thinking. And then that we can relate to. And then also the other one, the, the normativity of being male and female sometimes really become having a psychological thought in our mind, in our heart. And it also happens to some informant, the story of them. I listened one story. It said like, when I'm very poor, I met him. And then he never be with Waria because we are in the same, both of them are, they are starting a friend because of the poorness. So the one, the man is become a pengamen, Surabaya, and then he just came from the mountain. And then he said, because we are poor, so sometimes we share the super one pack, we share both of us. And then if I have money, I will give him, and if he have money, he will give. So this is the friendship as a start. And then they said we dependent to each other, and then falling in love with each other. And then they are moving to Kalimantan. In Kalimantan, he created a salon, and the salon become a big, and it's very good. This Catholic, and then the male is Muslim, and he living for 11 years together. One day, the male said that I really want to have you as a really my wife, but how you following me as the husband? As the husband means everything, including the religion. Then she said, and then she said, in sudden I remember my rosario. And then she said, I know I cannot. And then what he did at the final, he served a girl. And then introduced this girl to be the wife of her husband. And then they are married. We support all the wedding party. This, this, this put the makeup, put all the party. And then after that, she giving a half of the property to the partner. And then she returned to Maumere. And she cut from the zero again. And then she said, every time, I really need what I can do. I just smell his good. When he has a boy, when he has a son, I really congratulate him and ask him whether I can also taking care of the. Until today, they have a relationship very good also with him. When the wife asked him in the beginning before they are married, the he called the wife of the partner as a sister. And the sister asked, are you a partner of him? Oh, I'm just a very, and that although my love is like the thick, very thick, but I cannot do it because I aware I only can speak the love, but the love itself something like this. But this is how become a wound inside. And then if we looking, if we looking, if we are looking about the belief, about the religious, you cannot only see the particular sect, where the particular sect sometimes really against the different, but we have to come to the universal first, and then really analyze like hermeneutics, and then how we relate this text to our contextuality, because we can make a claim, right? I mean, there are many theories that can bring us to claim this. If we believe the humanity, why can humanity only making a specific category to be called as a human and the other is not? If we believe God can accept all the people, why we as the person who believe we are created by God cannot accept the other one, that they are also human? I become essential. I don't want it. I don't want it. But this is how sometimes we also really need to go to the very foundation of our belief, because all of us are very faith member, right? I mean, we cannot claim that only us, only we, only me who can be accepted by God. Even we don't know, no, when we meet the God, when the God also really talks. I mean, so many similarities. When when I'm listening to this love story, I really cried at that. I really cried. And she talking very happily about the moment she fall in love, the moment she taking care of the partner, the moment she creating the wedding party, the moment she talking about taking care of the child. She talking, it's like a very moment. It's like a now. It's like a recent moment. So it's very live. But when I asking how you keep this one, he said every night I keep holding the dress until, you know, when we also keep thinking that love is from God, then how we bend this? Yeah, about the person, but they are also worried. This person is worried. Yeah, yeah, yeah. But this one story, not only one story, I also found in Gorontalo. A bit different, but really love story. Several ones in the first generation and the second generation, telling how after years, after more than 10 years, they really finding a girl to marry it's like a polygamy, polygamy relationship, but it's not truly polygamy. It's like I finding a new wife for my husband, but and then I instead cut our relationship from intimacy into sibling, into brotherhood, into sisterhood. That happened a lot, pa. Many, many, many. So if one personal we cannot justify, I mean if personal experience we cannot justify as the true experience, then how we can claim about being different? Because sometimes even being even being even within the minority, there is a minority and the minority again. I think even the personal one is also important to me. Because who can really voice, who can really heard the personal story? Because not all the personal story can be heard, can be spread out, can be voiced. Sorry.
We have few minutes left. We will sit again. And thank you so much for the presentation, for the guest. And before we close the forum, we would like to give a presentation for Kakanis. And maybe we would like to invite Kak Ripka or Mas Anji. Okay.
Thank you everyone, and I'm very appreciated all the question and all the participation. Thank you so much. Aduh. Terima kasih banyak. Biar kaya, Pak. Biar kaya. Thank you banget. Iyo. Amin. Anjir, tenang di sini. Tenang di sini. Ini ada hadiah buat